Hey, one take Jade. So I just was watching a video about how males are the first victims of patriarchy, just how, white people are the first victims of whiteness. And I when people run down the list of the things that males suffer from, I suffer from those things majority because I was programmed male dominant when I was young. I was listening to my dad, my brother, my brothers, god brothers, and everything. I was going to listen to them. They're the athletes, my brother or my dad, he's the successful one that earns the most money. The males he's around, I was in upper middle class, so all the men are the successful ones from my understanding and everything. And of course, weighing out that other people had households like us. We grew up with kids with other professional parents and stuff like that. So I didn't always know about the mother's profession or earnings or whatever, but it was just understood that the males were successful. And then also the other group, which is the women and girls, they're in distress, or they're the ones being talked about so much, but that's why they're in distress. So the older women, they're in more of a distress, and girls, they're just always the subjects getting talked about negatively. So yeah, why would I want to be programmed like a girl? Why would I want to be programmed like a woman? I don't want to grow up to be that. I don't want to even be in the position that the girls are in. My brother and brothers, they would be around me. I got to be a part of locker room talk and a part of stuff, even with the older guys, when chicks would send news or they get videos of girls doing stuff, I got to see it and stuff. I never wanted to be that. So, and of course, how they're talking about it and everything. So I had skewed, really bad patriarchal beliefs and patriarchal like programming, like real extremely bad, like very bad. And I did say some things that hurt some girls' feelings. I was ignorant back then. Of course, I was a child, and I've been able to talk with a couple people about it or whatever. But the thing is, they'll still go the guys that talked about them like that though. But that's another story for another day. But the point is too, when it comes to that. So yeah, it was like, why would I want to be programmed like the women? Why would I want to be programmed like the girl? I don't want to end up like that in that dynamic. I wanted to be the powerhouse, and then I wanted to find a man that was like that. But it's funny because once I started grinding and hustling and had to get in the streets, like after college, once I got out of regular society, got into the discard from my narcissistic family, and then got into grinding in the streets, hustling, it was like I used to listen to Kevin Gates and all these different people, Nipsey, everybody. And I remember just crying one night to a Gates song, because I'm like, everything he talks about, it's like, I need a wife. Like, I'm like, no man is gonna, when they talk about what the women do for them and what she like endured and what she was by his side during, I'm like, no man is gonna do that for me. I need a damn wife. And then that's when I started believing, once, I was in Tampa, I'm like, I would need a wife and a husband. And especially once I became a shot girl in a strip club. When I worked in a strip club, that was my first time ever going to a strip club in my life. And I was amazed. It was day shift, so it's not music videos, what you think and stuff. It was just so amazing, and so many different type of dancers, and there's different audience for different people that come for different type of dancers. There's rock star, there's older, there's hip hop, there's jazz type, like it's nerdy, like that dance to little, like little cutesy. It's so crazy. It was amazing. But yeah, I was always thinking like, I'm gonna need a damn wife, because no man is gonna do for me like these women have done for these men, because they don't. I play the role of the guy in these songs. Like, that shit used to make me cry for real, and then that's when I should have started decentering men and been like, I'm that nigga. But I did not accept it. My programming was not accepting it. My program's still damn not accepting. I'm still grieving and getting to acceptance. And I did a video on this on TikTok about how millennial women have to grieve and get to acceptance that a lot of us will not be married. A lot of us will not have healthy relationships. A lot of us will end up being celibate or abstinent for majority rest of our life or long periods of time, because the boys are tampered with. So that shit just is what it is. But so when I was coming up, I saw that dynamic, and I was like, so I just listened to the guys exclusively. And then also my mom was my parents were married and still are married present day. and they have opposing like personalities. There's a Scorpio and an Aries. My mom's an Aries, dad's Scorpio. Scorpios, they gonna provide for their household, but he's a narc. So, and then she had narc tendencies too. So yeah, they became into a crazy dynamic. But yeah, so I just had bad patriarchal beliefs. I had to live through bad shit that I used to speak ignorantly on, saying even extreme as to saying it's girls and women's fault if they get raped. That's what my brothers and dads would say, and the boys would all say that, and the boys promoted rape. They did in different ways. On Urban Dictionary, I'll never forget one of our classmates, he posted a definition of something. It's called like I'm not even finna say it, but it's when another guy is in the room and you like trick the girl and the guy switches with you. I literally was on his thing and I'm reading. He has children, by the way, and daughters. I'm just like, bro, that's great. I'm like, and I typed that shit. My heart started beating like so fast. I'm like, and it's just so crazy. He had some lights, people laughing, like doing the laughing emojis to it and everything. It's just like, so that was normal to guys, but that wasn't so present when I was young, like, or else I would have been out of there. That shit would have had me definitely not aligned with them. But once we're older and stuff, then I started seeing how this shit like really is like regular to some people. Like that shit's not even, they don't even think of how traumatic that is at all. So, but that was after I had to live through stuff, and then I had to see me as the person I am. Because see, when you're you're programmed a certain type of way, some people will try to interpret it as being like a pick me or whatever. It's not like I'm not a pick me. It's that you're programmed to believe that that stuff is happening to those girls or women because they are acting a certain way and you don't act that way, so that shit shouldn't happen to you. It's not that you're like, oh, I'm better than them, or I don't, that wouldn't be me. It's just that you're believing that there is something being presented. That's what I'm being programmed to believe by my married dad. That's high earning, high college educated, all of this. My private school brothers, athletes, scholar athletes, all of this. We know what God is, all of this. They're programming me to believe that when you're in proximity with guys, you should already know like that can happen. But when I was young, I wasn't fully processing it just like for anybody. He was always saying like, oh, you don't do that. Like a lot of stuff is like, I didn't do certain stuff that a lot of girls are doing because I'm around my brothers and stuff, of course. But, so it was just like, you don't do that, you don't do that. So it made it seem like they were doing something else. And then they tried to put their accountability on the victim blaming. So with me, until of course it happened to me, a person who doesn't present no type of way, doesn't do nothing. I didn't do none of the stuff that he was saying or they've ever said other people are doing, or put myself in a dangerous situation. I just was with somebody. Most of the time it's with somebody that you're close to and trust and stuff. And something was added to my drink. So that's what it was. But yeah, once that shit happened, my eyes open, everything. And then of course, more life, more experiences. I don't go and get drinks with guys or nothing no more. And that just had to show me like, it's guys completely that is a problem, because it doesn't matter how you present yourself as a woman. That's why it happens to little girls. These are little children. It doesn't matter if she's 15. And see, I grew up with girls, they were developed by 12 and 13. They already were developing. I'm little. You say I'm little and I'm grown. But it's just like, yeah, guys, they don't care. They are demonic. They are demonic. And when I look back in my life, I'm like, every single guy I even grew up around was demonic. These guys are demonic. And you have to accept that. So, yeah, I had bad patriarchal beliefs back when I was young. I did get to talk to a couple people, but it's something about like one I'm thinking of is how she approached me, because she is still like super, super friendly with all the guys. I'm like, bro, them niggas are the ones that programmed me to say that. They were showing me that stuff. They were doing that. You all got to get mad at the guys too. And see, it wasn't until college that I realized that girls were not hearing what guys were saying about them, because I had a point in my life where I was very frustrated. Like, after, you know, probably like junior year with certain people, because I'm just like, why do these chicks keep on having sex with these dudes if they know that they're saying this type of stuff about them? It wasn't till I went to college, because then in college I was around groups of girls at a time. I didn't used to be around a bunch of different girls. I'd be with one or two or maybe even three sometimes, you know, in high school, but I wasn't with like groups and then got to be with another group and got to be like how I am with guys. So once I got with groups of girls, I'm like, oh, they do not see or hear what these guys are saying about them. I'm hearing it because I'm able to go in the dorms with the guys and I'm hearing them talk their shit. And then I go with the girls and they're separate. And I'm like, the girls are never all like in the dorm with the guys unless they're having, you know, doing intimacy or in that dynamic. That's the only time they're around the guys. Then they're not around the guys just chilling and listening and being friends, because the guys won't talk like that around them. I didn't get that. I thought these chicks was knowing, because I'm like, why the fuck would you fuck these guys? I'm thinking the chicks are stupid, the girls. But no, they weren't, because they didn't know. And that's why I always tell guys, you will never know how guys act around women and girls. You will never know how boys really act around girls, and how males, grown men, act around women when they're by themselves. They act totally different than when they're around other males. They will never show you what they do around us. They will never show you. They turn into total bitches, total babies, total losers. Like, they'll cry, literally, and they would never even have you thinking that they would be acting how they act around us. Like, so yeah, that's about my programming. I use my tripod for the first time. I'm going to digital detox. I'm going to heal myself. I am going to try. I'm going to try every day. I'm going to complain a little bit more, but I'm getting the fuck up every time I got energy. I'm showing up for me on my gates. You heard. It's my first demo with the tripod with the side lights. Had to turn it to the side a bit so we can lessen out the reflection.